Whoa, whoa, okay. Breathe. Are you related to Ragnar with that head? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Vinland Saga. We are now on to episode 20, which is called Crown. So in the last episode, we see that our guy Canute finally decided that it was time to stop cowering and stand up and act like a king. And he went back and stopped the Danes from basically pulling each other apart. This is after Thorfinn managed to, by sly means, finally defeat Thorkel. And yeah, basically Canute's saying we're going to march to Gainsborough and we're going to take out my dad and we're going to be the ones running things going forward. So if you want to follow me, let's do it. So everyone said that they're looking forward to seeing what it is this kid's going to bring. Askeladd admitted to the fact that he took out Ragnar, and the prince basically said, if you want to make up for it, make sure you don't fail me. So that's where we're going. I guess we're off to Gainsborough now, and the Danes have finally stopped infighting, but of course not before they took out a good chunk of Askeladd's men. But anyways, I'm ready to jump into the episode, so let's do that. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know when I drop episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. You sure about that? You think you know everything there, Box Top? Cool. That's right. Guess the impossible happened. Such a Box Top ass sound. Can you not read? Sorry. Right? Thank you. Are you dumb? Quickly. That's right. No, you did not. Excuse me, soldier, speak up and get him in trouble. That's right. Get on a knee, bitch. Yeah, don't screw up again, Boxy. Someone should have shoulder checked him on the way by. I'm just petty. That just Cannot wait for Thorfinn to find out that that Box Top's the reason his dad's gone. He's so easy. Oh my god. Bro was like, I wasn't planning on coming, but okay. Oh, something you practiced at, I hope you're listening, Thorfinn. Of course you're not. But you're here, so shut up. Sure. Sure. Except for the people that you are killing and pillaging now. They don't count. Sure. Great. Exactly. I'm Thorfinn. Whatever, bro. Turn into, honey. You're already there. Yeah, you got a demon right there. Two, if Thorfinn doesn't turn this stuff around quick. You seem thrilled, Pops. I'm okay back here. You look unwashed. Oh, your dad's no fool. Oh, it's a game of chicken. Gotcha. Alright, go ahead, boy. Thorfinn's like, give me a reason, give me a reason. Oh, you can tell what kind of a man he is. Ha! Nope. Shadows for you. I have bad knees. Yeah, about that, Askeladd. Want to speak up? With 50 other people in here? Why, this is weird. Exactly 10 baby steps. The way I would take like that foot over foot type of step. I highly doubt that. Ooh, the unspoken conversation. We have to listen to a story, dude. I'm on my knees. The floor is cold. That runs in the family.
意志があるのだ。この王冠にはな。
Explain.
だがクヌートよ。
Ooh, the artwork behind the throne.
王冠の意志が使うのだ。
Man said politics. Get ready.
笑もうても無駄なことよ。
Is it?
王冠はそなたを欲してはおらぬ。
Get another crown. That one's ugly anyway.
そこで聖書でも読みながら平穏の日々を送る。
Oh, he said go be a Christian elsewhere.
クヌート様の重視、オラフの子アシェラッド
Oh,
と
son
申
of
しま
Olaf,
す。
what happened to your mom?
果たしてこのご沙汰は王冠の意志にかないましょうや。このご沙汰、新たな領地の活上において各将軍に動揺を与えます。何とぞご再考を。
Oh. Well presented case.
アシェラッドと父は私に名を与えませんでした。
That's probably true. And his mother's name for him would not be one you'd need to hear.
奴隷に産ませた子かの。
Whoop! What is this guy starting to turn into a spirit?
アシュラットがここまで怒るなんて。
Well, at least now you know. See if you're smart. You'll keep this the next time he wants to do mental warfare with you, Thorfinn.
世は明日ヨークに立つ。かの地にて宴席を設ける。
Ooh, we like food.
そこで授けよう。
What reward are we talking about here? Better not be the eternal reward of death. Got my eyes on you. I wonder if Thorfinn is smart enough to pick up on the fact that he finally found out Askeladd's weakness.
王には今、私を殺すだけの大義名分がない。
Doesn't mean he wouldn't.
なおのこと、先ほどのような挑発はお控えください。
Right? I know your balls are new, but seriously, you have to get that under control.
少々警戒せねばならん。
Very, very much so. That much I'll give you, King. You're not an idiot.
おい、さっきから
A monk? What is with these religious people being complete alcoholics? I can't.
私はビリバルドです。
Willie bald? Oh, he cut his hair.
あのヒゲの赤や、いくつだよ。
23。
Damn! That's been 23 hard-ass years.
難しいと言わざるを得ませんな。頭の良いお方とお見受けしま
He
した。
is.
さすがは一国の王といったところでしょうか。
Yeah, he did take that crown by himself at some point in the past.
無事のご帰還お喜び申し上げます。
Sorry, who are you?
失敗したことか。ご入場にお出迎えもせず申し訳ございません。
Breathe.
随分経ったい
Are you related to Ragnar with that head?
ご紹介いただけますか
Who
な。
are you, bro?
ラグナルの弟。
That's so, that head.
先ほどスベン王には喧嘩を売ってきた。そなたも力を
Can you give him a minute to process your news?
王の監視と報告だ。
Wow, this kid went from a complete grab skirt to a bully.
殿下、お変わりになられた。
And not for the better at this rate. He might be worse than his father.
てないかんな。口ほど殿下への忠心があるとも思えし。
He definitely looks like he's fake.
この先どの面して会えばいいのか。
いったやーい当たった
And he's been broken.
兄者
Yeah, literally snapped.
ビョルンの傷治るといいな。
いいから受け取れ。ロギンが多くと困ることはねえだろうが。
Don't cry. It's really not that deep.
ありがたく。なんだよ、くれんのかくれねえのかどっち。
Fight for it, bro.
羊を飼い、嫁をもらってガキをこさえてベッドで死ね。
Oh, you get to do that? What about all those villagers that you took out? They don't get to do that? Okay.
わかった。
He said, shoo. Shoo!
これ何？これか。これは大切な。
I cannot believe that Thorkel broke him just by standing in front of him and hitting him on the head with, tapping him on the head with an axe. It's crazy.
他にいないぞ。一品だぞ。
We saw this guy before. So that's York. So it looks like, I don't know if it's the, I'm trying to figure out who would be selling slaves. I mean, around this time, yeah, this was pre-slave trade, like global slave trade. So I'm not exactly sure who's selling these slaves. But anyway, yeah, another episode. Basically, we have Canute. This is the new Canute. He is, he doesn't care about God anymore after spending, it looks like, the beginning of his life being very pious. He now feels that if God allowed, all these things to happen to him, that there is no God and he's going to show God, or that God deserves to be taught a lesson, which is like, okay, good luck with that. But anyhow, he ended up showing up to Gainsborough. They finally made it, and Canute is now using Askeladd as his right-hand person, because Askeladd did tell him last episode that he's able to read a man's entire life and know who he is just by looking at him. So that is a valuable skill if it is true. And I do think that Askeladd is good at judging people to an extent. But obviously when people feel like they know everything is typically when that leaves them open and vulnerable for something bad to happen. But for now, it's been working for Askeladd, obviously. And he's keeping Thorfinn around because Thorfinn's never going to leave Askeladd. So interesting, though. I thought it was funny, though, when Canute started giving Thorfinn orders, and Thor was like, oh, you can't tell me what to do. It's like, bro, shut up. Respectfully, Thorfinn, if you didn't want to follow him, he told you, turn around and go home. At any point in time in the last few years, I mean, when he was a kid, I get it. When Thorfinn was very little, he needed this group to survive, quite honestly. But now he's clearly he's not someone who needs help in the sense of defending himself. He knows how to move silently. He's been a spy for them for years, so he knows how to move and get around without anyone noticing him. He knows enough, at least while he's here in England, he knows enough of English to get by if he needed to. I'm sure he could find a boat headed back to at least Denmark, and then from there probably find his way back to Iceland. Again, I've talked in a few episodes about the fact that I think he's scared to go home because he still feels guilty. But point being, he's had numerous opportunities to walk away from Askeladd and his men. Askeladd has made it abundantly clear that Thorfinn is free to go whenever. He's not going to stop him. But Thorfinn, his revenge plot, so he says, that's what he's telling himself is really the reason he's staying. But as I've mentioned now a couple of times, he does care about Askeladd, whether he wants to admit it to himself or not. That is his dad for all intents and purposes. He cares about Askeladd, and he's not prepared to leave him at this point. And it's sad because, like I said, he's got a mom and a sister out there who think that he's dead. And I just think it's interesting that the last time, probably maybe more than that, maybe 3-4 episodes ago, where we saw Thorfinn dreaming, and in his dreams he thought of his dad, but he also, that's one of the few times we saw him seemingly think of his mom and sister. But it just seems strange to me that after almost 10 years, really, you have no desire to know if they're okay, if anything's happened to them. It's just, I get it. I know he's been busy. It's not like he's been sitting around these last 10 years. A lot of it was survival, and then the other half was fighting in a war. But it's just interesting that but I guess he only spent 5-6 years with them. So his attachment to these, it's crazy when you think about it. He's been with Askeladd and these degenerates longer than he lived with his mom. They're actually more his family than his blood family. But anyways, point is that Thorfinn has had plenty of opportunities to leave, and he could if he wanted to, but he doesn't. This is the life he knows now. He's grown into it, and it's sad. He effectively is a pirate, which is so sad because it goes against everything his father tried to instill in him. And again, he didn't have a ton of time. I think his dad really did plan on teaching Thorfinn more about this as he grew up, but obviously life didn't turn out that way, and he had to try to shove all those lessons in very quickly. And I guess the part that's stuck is that we know Thorfinn knows what he's doing is wrong. We know he's not happy with himself, because that kid is not that's one thing I'll say, is that look at him. The reason this kid's barely 15, 16 and he's got these hard chiseled jaws and this look about him is because he's miserable. He hasn't had a moment of peace in the last 10 years. It's not a joyful existence. Living for revenge, eating anger and resentment for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's killing the kid already. And he doesn't even realize it. He hasn't lived. He hasn't done anything that's made him happy, truly, in 10 years, because he's been so focused on proving himself to Askeladd and trying to get this so-called revenge. So anyway, I just thought it was funny, though, that he's sitting there trying to say that he's not going to be ordered around by the king. It's like, sir, if you're here, you're now effectively under Danish rule, and you're a Dane. So you're gonna have to, if you don't bend knees soon, someone's gonna break both your knees and make you. So hopefully we won't get that far. Because even your big uncle, who's the only person who could probably take out half that Danish army himself, is bending knee at the moment. So anyway, we see that Canute finally does meet up with his dad, and his dad is prepared. We've heard this from Ragnar, that household that Canute grew up in was messed up. Everyone's trying to kill everyone, quite literally. Backstabbing is a very real possibility, a literal backstabbing. And so the king was absolutely prepared. He had a lot of of people there, and it looks like he was trying to force Canute to leave because he doesn't want to do it himself, right? And Ragnar said this a couple episodes ago where he said that, the king knows he can't do it himself for optics, but he does not want Canute around. His ideal situation is that Canute doesn't make it. So Canute knows this. He's been told this by Ragnar. So I think in the past, if Ragnar was still alive, he definitely would have gone into exile, as we heard today was a plan they were looking at, or he would have just taken his dad's offer of going to Cornwall and living out the rest of his life there. But as we know now, Canute is on a new war path. He just wants to get power. He wants to show the gods. He wants to show everyone that he's the one who's going to fix everything. It's interesting, the dad's speech when he talked about the crown. And, they just called the episode Crown, but I'm sure people have heard the expression, heavy is the head that bears the crown. So many people from the outside love to say, they love to criticize people who are in charge. They love to criticize leaders, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, because sometimes some leaders are actually very bad at their jobs. But the point is, it's easy to pass judgment on someone when you've never been in their shoes, where you're actually having the lives of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions in your hand, not to mention having to look at your own situation, look at the welfare of it, all these things, plus the demands, and no two people want the same things. You can't please the masses. Only do your best to please the majority, and also keep the welfare of the country and overall what the direction and what it's supposed to be doing in mind too. It's a lot, is my point. It's a very, very big responsibility, and a lot of people from the outside really don't understand the level of pressure that comes with that. And also, any good leader, even if they're a monarch, there's never been, outside of a handful of monarchs here and there, most of them have never fully ruled on their own, because it's impossible. One man can't possibly know what's right for everyone. And if you have one man who thinks he knows that and continues to act in a way that does not in the interest of the greater good or the greater majority, inevitably you end up with assassinations and coups and all kinds of things, right? So point is, most monarchs have people that they go to, and the king will typically go to them or assign them the job of taking care of certain things so that the king is not weighed down with all of them, because it's just not realistic to be able to contemplate and handle all these things. And so I think that Canute's dad was trying to, in his own way, say that, I really thought when I took this crown from my father that I was going to fix everything, that it was going to be as simple as me telling people what to do and it get done. But he's like, once I got the crown, I realized how much more there is, and that it's not as simple, it's not as easy as I thought it was when I wasn't the one wearing it. And it's very easy to be optimistic before you go in, but once you get there, it's a very different story. And that's just the truth of leadership, period. His dad was trying to communicate this to Canute, and Canute, of course, wasn't hearing it because he's a child. He's barely lived life. Yes, he's had a very rough life, which has given him a lot more depth of field than the average kid, but he's still only a teenager. And there's only so much life you understand and so much of the world you know and understand as a kid. So, Canute's got that hubris of youth, which is not a bad thing. I think that passion and that drive is going to be good in some ways, but the rashness of thinking he's going to fix everything. I mean, he did say at least he doesn't see necessarily all of it happening in his lifetime, but he wants to make the moves that are going to set them up for greatness in the future. And I mean, that much I'll give him. And I do think Ragnar's influence was good for that. But anyways, there's just a lot of arrogance going on with him right now. He's definitely gone from being super timid to super arrogant. And I think some of that has to do with who he's ruling. Like, he's not just dealing with your typical citizens. He's dealing with Danes who are used to just running around and doing whatever the heck they want because they're bigger and stronger than most people. So he really has to find a way to make sure they listen to him. So I feel like that's where a lot of this attitude is coming from. But he is at least smart enough to realize he does need some older people to help him out. That's why he's got Askeladd. But yeah, it's interesting to see this change that he's experiencing, and the fact that people who are looking at him are immediately noticing that there's a big change in his demeanor. So anyway, the political games are afoot now in this episode, and we see that Thorfinn, even though he's still got a fully broken arm, he's still making sure that his skills are sharp for, that duel he's going to have with Askeladd one day, which is never actually going to happen. But anyways, let him keep thinking that to justify the fact that he's doing everything he's not supposed to. Yeah, another good episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.